Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4, and we're also going to be discussing my top 10 tracks of this fantastic motorcycle video game, Ride 4. So sit back and enjoy, and we're going to discuss my top 10 tracks. So starting off at number 10, it's time for the Virginia International Raceway North Course. Now, not the entire track, although the full track is absolutely fantastic as well, but I really prefer the North Course. You're going to see in this particular short time trial version I'm going to be doing on board the Aprilia, you can see some really brilliant tight short corners, long corners, undulation. It just has a lot. I think the theme you're going to see a lot in my sort of top 10 tracks, and I think I say this in a lot of my videos, but there is undulation. There can't be a flat track. I don't particularly enjoy flat tracks. I also enjoy a combination of many different corners. I'm not a fan of a just bland circle, for example. You guys know how much I really don't like the Daytona oval, for example. I'm not a fan of that because I like undulation, I like long corners, short corners, you name it. A bit like Cliff Richard's Wired for Sound. He likes tall speakers and small speakers. I like long corners and I like short corners as well. Heavy braking zones included as well. And I really do like tracks with a bit of a tough corner that kind of catches you out. The one that you have to prepare for with a couple of corners in advance. And of course, turn 15, the roller coaster, is definitely the corner I was referring to when it comes to the North Course. And even the final two turns going into turn 18 for the hog pen and coming out of that one for turn 19 as well. So that's number 10, the Virginia International Raceway North Course is at the 10 spot. Now moving on to number 9, and it's going over to France, and it's time for Magny Cours, a wonderful, wonderful French circuit that just made it into the top 10. It was a bit of a debate between 10th or 9th spot, but I'm pretty confident and happy with 9th spot for Magny Cours. Now, of course, as mentioned earlier, I'm using the Aprilia, but I forgot to say what actual model it was. This is the Aprilia RSV4F, part of the DLC bikes pretty early on, actually, which I'm still trying to get level 5 affinity with. Not far off. Very, very close now. Need another 100 points or so, and this video has certainly helped with that. But this French track, especially for Magny Cours, is really, really good. It has that superbike feel that I crave when I want to play Ride 4 and simulate playing superbike games. Unfortunately, that isn't a thing, of course. But this track also has that sort of corner you have to prepare for, and that is Adelaide. Every single time I go into Adelaide, I brake at the 200 metre mark or a little bit early depending on the bike, and I wish I was top rack Razgatioglu, braking so hard going into there, rear tyre sliding, bit of an endo, bit of a bike wobbling and squirming under the brakes, but I love it. Adelaide just gives you that wonderful sensation of pushing a bike to the absolute limit and really, really hard on the brakes. I mean, going into Estoril, etc., Chateau d'Eu, even the final couple of chicanes, it's a great track. There's a lot of things to offer. If you've never tried Magny Cours, or if you're not a fan, then I suggest you need to spend a bit more time with this beautiful French circuit. A minor negative that doesn't actually affect my opinion on the track, more so just for my experience playing Ride 4, is that I really don't like the AI in this particular track. It just doesn't do very well. It always struggles and always goes very slow, but I tend to come here and just want to chuck out the fastest lap times possible, and I really go get a good sensation and of enjoyment out of Magny Cours. But now it's time to move to the 8th circuit on the list, and that is Kanto South Course. Once again, another variation of a fuller track, which of course this is being Kanto. The South Course for me is the best version. Again, it's got all the best corners, you've got undulation, you've got long, long corners, and you've got some of those hard braking zones as well. Very much enjoy Kanto, and it really reminds me of the earlier ride games because I'm sure this one's been in it since the beginning. I'm sure I've played Kanto pretty much every single year, and just every single year Milestone continues to make it look better, continues to make the bikes feel better, and continues to just make the whole experience of this game just even better. It really does. And unfortunately my English wasn't good enough to use any word better than better, but right now, honestly I can assure you, it is bloody brilliant. It is superb, it's stupendous. There's many more words I could use, but for the time being, really, really enjoy this track. Barrianto 1, and then going into the right-hander, and then the left-hander as you flick it to the right, to the left, going into Barrianto 2. Brilliant combination. And then one of my favourite moments is going onto that back straight, giving it everything you've got, getting right up to 180 miles an hour, even beyond, depending on what bike you're using, and looking out for that blue van And once you see the blue van, you give it a bit of brake and just slowly go into City 1, slowly manoeuvre into City 2, and then all systems go, double thumbs up, right wrist enabled, fly towards the next corner. Very challenging track, but also quite simplistic as well. I very much enjoy this track. It's certainly worthy of top 8 on my top 10 Ride 4 track lists. And of course on the hard brakes here going into the left hander for turn 11, another bit of addition to the ensemble that requires a good track for me. Hard braking, long corners, short corners, undulation, you name it. Kanto, you do it all. Thank you for being number 8 on my list. But now moving across to number 7. You might be surprised to see Phillip Island not so high up on the list, but 7th place, of course, on the track in Ride 4 is still good enough, in my opinion at least, for the top 10. I think it's a great result for Phillip Island, because if you're in my top 10, it means you're doing something right, and this Australian circuit certainly does things right. And as mentioned as earlier on, looking for that particular part of the track that really is a little bit difficult, that can catch people out, that maybe some people say, oh, I hate that track because I hate that particular part. Me, I'm going to take that in my stride, and that is going to be turn 4 for Honda, and then going across into Lukey Heights and going downhill into turn 10. I can't tell you how many overtakes I've had in Ride 4 going into turn 10. Maybe you've seen them, or maybe you haven't. It doesn't matter. I've just done a lot of overtakes going into turn 10. But my only little sort of qualm with this track is that I do prefer MotoGP 21's depiction of Phillip Island circuit. It isn't exactly the same, it's a little bit different here and there, but I would rather use the MotoGP bikes rather than these bikes in Ride 4. That's the only reason that Phillip Island isn't a little bit higher, because there is a little bit better of a version out in another video game, and that is of course MotoGP 21, but by no means that is an effect on this particular sort of track in general, just a little bit of an effect on the top 10 list, because the next couple of tracks coming up, I think you're pretty much going to expect them. Maybe 1 or 2 is going to be a bit of a surprise, but definitely the top 3 is probably what you're going to be expecting, because I'm kind of predictable after all. But for the time being, Phillip Island, fantastic and worthy of 7th place. So now moving over to number 6 on DrAce's top 10 track list of Ride 4, and that is Southern 100. And you know what? I think that might have caught a few of you off guard, because it's probably not often I tackle such treacherous tracks such as Southern 100. But I had to really give this one a lot of good sort of feedback, because I honestly really love this track. It is so challenging, but I haven't been challenged in a track like this one for quite a while, and I think the better I've become on this track, the more I've really begun to enjoy it and appreciate it. And I really like Southern 100. It's not too long, so if you do make a mistake, you know you can restart it and probably not going to get too frustrated. I like it, I really do. It's one of those difficult challenges that I love doing. And when you nail it, when you get it right and you are flying through these corners with ultimate speed and precision, it kind of beats out the other tracks for me. It's not often I would probably pick this on a multiplayer race, because I imagine it would just be sheer carnage. But I really like playing this one on my own. I don't particularly play against the AI, just a time trial, just me and my lonesome, just rocking some lap times around here. And to be honest with you, that's how sometimes I get my affinity levels up. Go to tracks I like, such as Southern 100, and just blast it round. And also at the same time improving my skills, because it's a very difficult track. And to be able to sort of ride the waves, ride those really tough bumps, you've got to be pretty good at the game as well to nail a fast lap around Southern 100. So I like to think that this kind of boosts my ego every single time I actually get across the line here in Southern 100. But this has the ultimate amount of corners that I've just mentioned earlier on in this video. Undulation, long corners, short corners, hard braking zones, short braking zones. You know the score by now, that's what I like. You've already seen the other 4 on this particular list, but now going into the top 5 in a minute's time, I think the Southern 100 deserves 6th place. It was such a tie-up between the next track that's going to come up, and I think this one might be expected. Maybe not worthy of a top 5, but for me, I really like this track, and I'm guessing a lot of you will disagree with this next track, but I'm very, very keen to show you as we navigate the final corner of the Castletown corner, right here in Southern 100. It's time to reveal the track that's going to divide a couple of people, I think. Let's find out which one it is. And it is number 5, Macau, the Chinese circuit, the Chinese Monaco, if you will. I love this circuit. It's so challenging. It's a nightmare for newcomers, and it's probably a nightmare still for some veteran players. But you can't deny this track is epic. It's super fast, It's super quick. It's just, I said the same thing twice effectively there, but I guess it deserves double fast because this track is just beautiful. It is a fantastic track. It's not great to race on. The AI don't seem to be doing a very good job, and you can pretty much only overtake in a couple of corners. But the actual challenge of being on your own, riding as fast as you can with that precision, the same thing as Southern 100 as well, really. And I also feel like this track is the same as the other one in the sense of it's not too long. It's not like Nordschleife, for example. If you do mess up, you're not only going to have to restart within maybe a minute or something. You don't have to be 7 minutes in it, make a mistake and have to restart the entire thing and do another 7-minute lap. It's a very demanding track, but honestly, I think if you really take this track calmly and just smoothly, it's not too bad. It's actually very easy. If you're rushing it and you're overthinking every corner, yeah, you're going to have a bad time. But for me, I just take this one rather smoothly and rather calmly. I never seem to really push that hard in Macau and still enjoy the experience. Because even in helmet cam at night time, all sort of different variations, even when it's wet, the track looks fantastic. And there's lots of little things and little details to be seen across the track. And I just think the entire attention to detail to the track and the circuit is just great as well. It's just very enjoyable for me. I really like it. It was tough to put it here in 5th place. I wanted to put it a little bit higher, actually. But the next 4 tracks, I think, just, in my opinion, just beat it out. I do really enjoy Macau, and I really enjoy all of the tracks on this list. And to be honest with you, I don't know whether I can make a top 10 dislike tracks, or I could possibly make a top 5 dislike tracks in Ride 4. And I only have a few of them, so maybe I'll make that in another video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see next, in the sense of the top 10 Ride 4, etc, etc. If you have an idea, let me know in the comment section down below. I do believe some of you have already given me some ideas, which I will return back to. Although I have digressed a little bit, be sure to hit that like button, guys, just to let me know that you are really enjoying this particular video and the style and the top 10s. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below. I need your support, and I need you to tell me which ones you want to do next. But for the time being, we're finished with Macau. Thank you very much. Beautiful Chinese circuit. It's time for the runner-up of the podium for number 4. And number 4 being Cadwell Park. Oh, it pains me not to put it in the top 3, but there's just 3 more better tracks. Cadwell Park, you do it all. You have everything I desire in the sense of undulation. We can go up in the sky and we can go down to the basement. There's just so many different undulation in this track. You go high, you go low, you go long corners, you go short corners, you go heavy braking zones, and you go some nice short corners as well. The ultimate combination of a British circuit for me, in my opinion. Difficult, challenging, but by God does it look gorgeous with that fielding. It's just it's so good. It's so proud to be British, isn't it? I like it. Cadwell Park is a great track, and I'm always watching British Superbike and never been able to actually play a good bike game on this particular track. That comes to an end with Ride 4's brilliance and Cadwell Park's brilliance in the game. I think it's depicted very well. I think the corners are fantastic, and especially going into the gooseneck corner, I love that combination to the right to the left, and you can actually get past a lot of AI riders going into that corner if you're brave enough, and does it ever feel satisfying? It really does. And of course, even some of the more difficult parts, and speaking of those difficult zones that I really like, it's that 1 or 2 corners that everyone seems to really struggle on, and I like to strive in it. Of course, going into the left-hander for turn 11 and the right-hander for turn 12 for the mountain, going up over the high-rise and wheeling a little bit. It's just so invigorating when you get a good lap around this circuit. One of the best in my opinion. I love this track. Sad to see it didn't make the top 3. But the top 3, again, are brilliant tracks, so it's so difficult. It really is. But I'm honestly happy with any of the positions on this one, because if you're in the top 10, you're doing something right, regardless of what you're doing. But now it's time for top 3. It's the podium position for Brands Hatch in 3rd place. Loved by everyone, hated by none. Brands Hatch well and truly deserves 3rd place on this particular podium. Now, of course, as mentioned earlier, with difficult braking zones, there's certainly a few little ones that catch you off guard. Even the first corner, going into Sheens, there's a lot of different corners in this particular track that can catch you off guard, and I think everybody loves this track, honestly. It's a great starter track, but it's also a really good challenging track to improve your lap times on and get a better feeling for the motorcycles. And I think as well, in my experience in Ride 4, I've just had so many great races in Ride 4 in this track. From endurance races, from normal racing to racing online, to doing time trials. There's just been so many good experiences with Brand Hatch, and I just really love the track in general. It's a track you've seen on the television, and I really wanted to play it in the game. And then when Ride 4 comes along and gives you access to so many great bikes in such a great track, you just have to take it on board, and you just have to make sure you play this track as much as possible. And totally deserves a top 3 position for me. I love this track, and as I say, I would have wanted to put Cadwell in top 3, but Brands Hatch just ultimately beat it out just that little bit more, just because it's loved by so many. It is well and truly adored by, I think, everyone. I don't know anyone particular who can sit there and say to me, I don't like Brands Hatch, it's not the track for me. But that is the podium position for Brands Hatch, but that means there's only 2 of the better tracks in Ride 4, and I think you might be expecting them. You might be expecting which ones they are, but for number 2, of course it's on the list, Donington Park. I love this circuit. Donington Park is so good. It's just the memories, the racing I've seen, the videos I've made on Donington Park, the world record, my very first world record was held here in Donington Park back in Ride 4 when I started out on board the Ducati Banacali V4R, but of course that has been beaten now because the Ride 4 physics were changed, etc, etc, and the bikes got a little bit quicker, but I think it was beaten anyway before I even managed to get into the physics, etc. But honestly, really great experience with Donington Park. Every bike game I've ever played, I've always jumped onto Donington Park, if it's there of course, and just enjoyed it. I feel it is one of my best tracks in this game. I feel I'm very competitive here. Honestly, this might be my best track in the sense of what I'm quickest at. I don't think I've ever been wrong at Donington Park. I've always had great racing here, whether it's online, against AI, or endurance modes. I love this track. I just absolutely adore it. The braking zones, the little bit of undulation, hard braking, short braking, you know the score. It's just great. It's so good, and I love the track. The prestige behind Donington Park is just massive. Everybody knows Donington Park, pretty much depending where you are. You'll probably have heard of Donington Park. You've seen Grand Prix in there due to MotoGP, due to World Superbike, British Superbike. It's a great track, and honestly, the only reason it wasn't first place is because it's a track that just has my heart. This one has my heart as well, don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore Donington Park. I speak very fondly of it, but number 1 just beat it out ever so slightly, and honestly, both tracks could have been decided, but number 1 is going to be Oulton Park, or Oulton Park, I can never pronounce it properly. The track that's only 45 minutes up the road from me. Oh my god, I love this track. It's just so good. The undulation, the hard braking zones, the bumps in the track every now and again, the difficult corners such as Hizzy's, Britain's and Shell's Oil's corner, and of course even the water tower towards the end of the circuit. It's a brilliant track which I have just so many fond memories of. Being competitive here from one of my very first time trials, just to enjoying the track, watching it on the circuit in the sense of British Superbike, I think I've been to Oulton Park as well when I was a young child, and it's just a terrific track. It's just so good. I love the way it looks, I love the way it feels. It did beat out Donington Park just ever so slightly, which to myself I'm still surprised at, but the more I played this track and the more I played this game, the more I realised how much I enjoy Oulton Park. It's a great track. I absolutely love it. Nothing but fond memories of this track. I really like it. It's got everything, as mentioned earlier, hard braking zones, short braking, long corners, short corners, high gears, low gears, everything. For me, it's the track that really challenges you in the sense of using everything in your arsenal. And this track certainly gives you that opportunity. So massive seal of approval. DrAce's sticker of approval, bang on the screen right now. That is Oulton Park. But guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you don't mind me gushing at some tracks in Ride 4. We've gushed at the bikes, we're now gushing at the tracks. Why not? I absolutely love this game, and I absolutely love Oulton Park. So guys, thanks for watching as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now, with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.